Well, safe to say Idaho would never be confused with water world, but when it comes to water, that commodity means the world to Idaho farmers. 3 weeks ago, water was about to be cut off for a bunch of eastern Idaho surface water users for not following the rules that were set up many years ago. But then this week, that curtailment was called off after a short-term agreement was brokered to keep the water flowing for the rest of the growing season. And while that might bring a sigh of relief to farmers this year, there's still work to be done to find a long-term answer to this perennial problem. Joe Paris dives into the murky situation.
It's a solution for now. Notice from the Idaho Department of Water Resources of an agreement on the water fight. Users in the eastern Snake Plain region say they're relieved.
The crisis has been averted, and that farmers can go ahead in 2024 as they normally have.
Idaho Lieutenant Governor Scott Bedke helped negotiate a short-term deal. A deal that keeps water flowing to groundwater districts that the state reported in May were out of compliance with the mitigation plan.
And we all agreed that the existing agreement has some flaws to it. And when both parties agree to change it, then they can. And the list of things that we'd like to change is growing, and those changes can only come about through a negotiated process.
It's a huge relief for me and for a lot of farmers in our area who frankly weren't quite sure what was going to come out of the whole situation.
Adam Young is a groundwater user in Blackfoot, Idaho. His livelihood and decades-long family business sat at a major crossroads.
So I'm optimistic that we can find a solution going forward. We have the governor, the lieutenant governor, and Director Weaver all on record stating that the 2016 plan is showing its age and needs to be replaced by something better. And
still, there needs to be a long-term solution. A major renegotiation of a mitigation plan, now labeled by some camps as outdated.
This doesn't represent a long-term fix. This doesn't really fix the underlying issues, and now we begin the hard work of figuring out what a viable and sensible long-term solution is going forward.
It was heartening from some perspective to see Idahoans step up and collectively fix a problem that wasn't in their specific self-interest to fix.
I just think it's important to get everybody back in the boat, and so we're delighted to have everybody back in the boat. And in my mind, everybody in this boat has got a job to do. And if everybody's in the boat and everybody is doing their job, we will sail right through this storm.
On the other side of the water fight are people like Jay Berlogi, general manager of the Twin Falls Canal Company, a supplier of surface water users that have more senior water rights in Idaho. In the Gem State, the law of the land is prior appropriation, the doctrine of first in time, first in right for water rights.
Certainly, it was stressful. We worry, particularly when there's a curtailment order out there. We don't want to see those acres dried up, but nonetheless, we've got to exercise our rights as well. We don't want to see our acres go short of water at the end of the season either.
Berlogi and others in that camp understand the complex issues at hand, but still, they have a responsibility to supply those senior rights.
Well, I think unfortunately it has become a little bit of an us versus them from all different angles. And I think that's our challenge, is just to get out of that realm and get everybody back to the table and work as a community effort.
It's definitely going to keep us busy, but I am glad to have that immediate crisis of the curtailment behind us so that we can focus on our day jobs.
I think the story made it clear, but I wanted to make it clear. I misspoke and said that this curtailment was about surface waters. No, this is about groundwater. So that curtailment is called off. Surface waters use the canals. Groundwaters have to pull it from the ground. So hopefully the story made that clear for you as well.